Hey guys, it's Dr. Sam Robbins. Today I'm going to talk about how you can have bigger, fuller erections and have better sex almost instantly and do so naturally without medications or injections or any of that kind of stuff. And, it's one of these topics guys always care about, and I bring it up because a couple weeks ago I had a friend of mine. Now he's, big bodybuilder guy at the gym. He comes up to me and, his hormones are perfect, right? And he says, hey man, I had this new hot girl that I went out with, and we had, sex the first time, everything was good, but then the second time I couldn't perform. Then she's like, hey, is it me? Did it, you're not attracted to me? Is it something I said, this and that? And he's like, man, the more she talked, the worse it got. And then he's like, it started playing head games with me. So anyhow, whatever excuse. He said he went out with her like a week later. And again, because it was so in his head that it was going to happen again, guess what? It happened again. So now he's like, man, I don't think I can go out there. And I remember he was telling me this because he's like, he was kind of ignoring her at the gym because he felt ashamed, right? He didn't feel like man enough. And this guy's like a big bodybuilder guy, lots of muscles, like 250 pounds. And again, all his hormones are just right and all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't matter if you're young or old. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It doesn't matter if you're good looking or not. When your penis doesn't work, it really causes head games with you. And then not only are you like, what's wrong with me? Is this, that, and the other thing? You don't feel man enough. It also then causes issues with the person you're with, because then she'll either takes it personally and you're like, no, it's not me. Or she's like, what's wrong with you? I never had this problem with the other guy. And it has a negative spiral effect. So that's why I keep bringing up these issues, because I hear guys talking to me about it all the time. Anyhow, so what do we need to improve the erections? Why did this have how to do so instantly? Well, first of all, this is about a blood flow issue, right? However, if your hormones are not right, your testosterone is not right, and I mentioned this before, if your estrogen levels or stress hormones are out of whack, it's going to cause problems, right? Because look at this guy. His adrenaline got up. His got so stressful that he even took Viagra and it still didn't work because he was under so much stress and worrying about it. So let's improve blood flow. As far as the penis, there's a gas called nitric oxide. You've heard about it. It's NO, and that it helps expand and increase blood flow. Like one of the benefits with nitric oxide is it also helps lower blood pressure. You probably heard about drugs such as Viagra and Cialis. These are PDE5 inhibitors. That's the enzyme that that when you inhibit it, there's more nitric oxide gets released, right? And you have better blood flow. And incidentally, if you didn't already know, Viagra was originally designed, sildenafil was originally designed as a blood pressure drug. So it was to lower blood pressure. Now, one of the benefits, because it lowered blood pressure because of the better blood flow, nitric oxide levels, it does lower blood pressure very well, but it does better with improving erections. And they found that as a side effect of it. So they renamed the product and then charge you 10 times more. Actually, sildenafil as a blood pressure drug is available at literally a fraction of the price as Viagra and Cialis. Basically, all these drugs all work the same: better blood flow, nitric oxide levels, and good for blood pressure, but obviously better for erections, since that's today's topic. Now, I will teach you how you can create your own improved nitric oxide levels without having to take Viagra and Cialis. You'll also learn how to, if you are taking these drugs, how these drugs will work even better. The problem with taking Viagra and Cialis is that, first of all, your body, obviously the side effects, some people can't take it, the nose, the eyes, sometimes it lowers blood pressure too much, all these side effects. That aside, it doesn't work in about 40% of people. And the longer you use it, the worse it works. So if you keep using it all the time, especially when you're young, later on in life, it may not work as well, or it may not work at all. One of the reasons, and a couple of the reasons that it doesn't work for some people and doesn't work as well, is first of all, it requires some of the essentials, nutrients that your body needs to improve nitric oxide levels, right? So that's the number one thing. And also, none of this stuff works as well if you don't have good amounts or healthy levels of hormones, specifically also testosterone. Keep in mind, as testosterone levels go up, nitric oxide levels also go up, as well as dopamine, all these other pathways. So all this stuff works better when you have higher testosterone levels. Ironically, Viagra and Cialis work better, much better in younger people who don't need it, rather than older people who do need it, and all because their hormone levels are better. Obviously, we have better blood flow and all this other stuff, but the testosterone levels make a big difference. So let's improve testosterone levels. I'll show you how you can do that in a minute or two. So how do we improve nitric oxide levels? Well, there's 2 amino acids that help increase nitric oxide levels. A few years ago, the primary one was L-Arginine. You probably heard about it, and a lot of people use it to lower blood pressure and so forth. The other one is also L-Citrulline. That's a newer one. Again, this is all old school, but L-Arginine and L-Citrulline are these 2 amino acids that help increase nitric oxide levels naturally. They're healthy amino acids, so that's the natural way to do it. However, there's issues. I mentioned how L-Arginine was the original one, and that's a precursor to nitric oxide. L-Arginine is good. Unfortunately, a lot of it gets broken down in the body, in the gut, and before it reaches the target tissue in this situation, today's topic is your penis. So it doesn't get fully absorbed or as well with L-Arginine. When you take, and also L-Arginine has other side effects. If you take too much of it, some people get cold sores and so forth. It has some issues. So instead, what we do is we take L-Citrulline, the amino acid, and that directly converts to L-Arginine in the kidney. So citrulline converts to L-Arginine in the kidney, and this conversion process leads to higher levels of L-Arginine available for nitric oxide synthesis. So instead of taking L-Arginine by itself, which will break it down, most of it in the body, now we take L-Citrulline, which then gets converted to L-Arginine, and then your body can produce more nitric oxide levels. So basically, L-Citrulline is the best way to do it. Some people combine arginine with citrulline. I stop. I just take, like I said, L-Citrulline by itself, and you can take more of it without causing side effects like you do with L-Arginine. So less side effects, more effective, better end result. However, what's the proper dose and all these things, and when should you take it? Studies show that for citrulline, you take basically 2 grams, roughly, like 3 times a day. 2 grams is the same as 2,000 milligrams. So 2,000 milligrams or 2 grams a day, 3 times a day, right? But I suggest if you're going to do it before sex, you take about 3 grams to 6 grams, or I basically take a teaspoon of this stuff, and I'll tell you about that in a minute, or basically roughly on average 5,000 milligrams or 5 grams, basically 3 grams to 6 grams, somewhere around there. Take it about half an hour before sex. I suggest doing it on an empty stomach. Now, again, start at the lower dose with the 3 grams and then work yourself up to 6 grams just to see how your body does. Basically, my suggestion is always, if you can get by with less of anything, better, right? Only increase the dose as needed. It'll save you money. So L-Citrulline comes in different forms. You can take it in gummies, which is a total ripoff. You can take it in pills. And again, good, but now you got to take a bunch of pills. Again, most people like pills because it's easier, but if you want to save money, which is what I do, I just take a powder form, and it doesn't really taste bad. For me, it's a little bit tart. I just take a teaspoon, and that roughly comes out to about 5 grams, 5,000 milligrams. I wash it down with a cup of water. Again, that's roughly 30 minutes before sex. You can also take it before workouts to get better pumps. And sometimes what happens is you probably heard of NO type products, nitric oxide stuff, pre-workout stuff, but they contain a bunch of other stuff. Typically, they beta-alanine, they have other vitamins. They also have lots of caffeine, which we don't want. Caffeine before sex is not good. Okay, you don't want to increase your stress hormones before sex. So those are good for pre-workouts for a lot of reasons. But if you want to just keep it basic, L-Citrulline by itself before sex, or again, if you want to get her better pumps before the workout. But you only need it by itself. You don't take all these other products with their other ingredients. You're just going to end up wasting money. Now, there's other supplements or herbs that help increase nitric oxide levels. One of them is beetroot extract. The other one is pine bark extract or pycnogenol. Both of these in clinical studies have shown to increase nitric oxide, so you can take them together. The other thing is that remember, our goal is better blood flow. Nitric oxide is one aspect of it. The other thing you want to do is increase better blood flow by improving elasticity of the veins, right, and the arteries and so forth, just basically so they can dilate better. That's another factor. Just think, if you're going to rush all this extra blood, for example, with the nitric oxide, but your capillaries and veins and arteries are just not good, they're not as elastic as when they used to be, none of this stuff's going to work. It might even cause other problems, right? So there's other things I suggest you take it. For example, horse chestnut extract, ginkgo biloba, also grapeseed extract, and L-carnitine is also good for improving blood flow, epithelial cell improvement, the elasticity and all that stuff. So basically, I combine L-Citrulline, right, before bed or before sex, before you're gonna have sex, and then I take these other herbs with it. Again, obviously you're like, hey, well, I don't want to take all these different products. So here's what I do. I take a product called Blood Flow Optimizer. I take that every morning and every night. That's just for all the time, for improved blood flow circulation. Again, it's good for the heart, it's good for the brain, it's good for the muscles, and it's good for better erections. It's just all the time. Then before sex, kind of like natural Viagra, I would take the L-Citrulline with it. So blood flow optimizer throughout the day, a couple times a day. I do that all the time. And then I'll take the L-Citrulline as needed before sex, about half an hour before. You can take this about half an hour before bed, sex or all that stuff. But again, I just take it 2 times a day, morning and night, or morning and the afternoon. So better sex, remember, L-Citrulline powder, and then we take blood flow throughout the day, L-Citrulline. But remember, none of this matters if your testosterone levels aren't optimal. I put links below. You've watched all my videos about increasing testosterone. I just take another product called Alpha Viral, and that basically helps improve testosterone levels. I take that twice a day. I take that with the blood flow, again, so all that stuff, and then I'll take the L-Citrulline as needed before sex. I put all the links below. Let me know what questions you have, comments, if this was helpful. Subscribe, like, share. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I wish you a very happy and healthy day.